Have you ever noticed how something as small as a walnut can feel like holding a whole world in your hand? There's something quietly powerful about nature's design, how the tiniest foods often carry the greatest gifts. It's in these small, unassuming packages, a humble almond, a buttery macadamia, a handful of pistachios, that centuries of wisdom, healing energy, and pure nutrition are stored. And as we cross into our 60s and 70s, our relationship with food begins to shift, not just in what we crave, but in what our bodies truly need. Our metabolism slows, our cells change, and yet our potential for energy, clarity, and joy remains fully alive if we nourish it wisely. That's where nuts come in. For generations, they've been symbols of health, longevity, even spiritual wisdom. From Greek philosophers snacking on chestnuts to ancient Chinese medicine using walnuts to strengthen the kidneys and brain, nuts have quietly supported human vitality across every culture. And today, modern science is finally catching up. Researchers are uncovering how certain nuts, just four in fact, can dramatically enhance heart function, protect memory, reduce inflammation, and even support graceful aging after 65. But here's the nuance. Not all nuts are created equal. Some, while nutritious on paper, may become more difficult for aging bodies to process, especially if eaten in excess or without the right balance. This isn't about good versus bad. It's about listening to your body, understanding the science, and making small, joyful adjustments to support your best possible health. So in this story, we'll explore the four most powerful nuts to enjoy regularly after 65, and we'll gently examine four that might be worth enjoying more occasionally or pairing more thoughtfully depending on your unique needs. No shame, no scare tactics, just nourishment, wisdom, and the joy of eating well at every age. Let's begin with one of the greatest champions of brain health, memory, and mood, the walnut. In the hills of California, walnut trees stretch toward the sun like ancient elders. Their gnarled trunks and wide-reaching branches seem to whisper something old, something important. And inside each shell, a golden nugget that science has called one of the best brain foods on Earth. The shape of a walnut even resembles the human brain, a poetic coincidence that traditional Chinese medicine has long believed to be meaningful, and science now agrees. Walnuts are one of the only tree nuts that contain significant levels of alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. Why is this important after 65? Because omega-3s help reduce brain inflammation, improve blood flow to the brain, and support the health of neurons, those little electric messengers responsible for memory, learning, and even emotional stability. In fact, a 2023 study published in the Journal of Nutrition, Health, and Aging found that older adults who consumed just 5 to 6 walnuts per day showed slower cognitive decline over 2 years, compared to those who didn't eat any. Walnuts are also rich in polyphenols, natural compounds that act like tiny firefighters in your body, reducing oxidative stress and protecting your cells from age-related wear. Even more beautifully, they pair naturally with foods that enhance their benefits. Try them with blueberries, rich in anthocyanins, for a brain-protecting, antioxidant-rich snack. Or add crushed walnuts to a salad of leafy greens, where the healthy fats help your body absorb fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, and K. The key is freshness. Always choose raw or dry roasted, unsalted walnuts when possible. Store them in the fridge or freezer to protect those delicate oils from going rancid, and enjoy a small handful daily, not as a supplement, not as a cure, but as a ritual of nourishment, because every bite can be a gift to your future self. Next, we'll explore a nut that supports your heart in surprising, delicious ways, and one that deserves just a little more caution if you're watching your digestion. Now that we've cracked open the walnut, both literally and metaphorically, let's take a moment to turn toward the heart. As we age, our heart becomes more sensitive to the small choices we make every day. And while medication and lifestyle changes certainly play a role, food continues to be one of our most powerful allies, or quiet stressors. Enter the almond. Sleek, elegant, and loaded with nutrients, almonds are one of the oldest cultivated nuts in human history. Traces of almond cultivation go back over 5,000 years to ancient Mesopotamia and Persia. The Romans called them the Greek nut, and ancient Ayurvedic healers saw them as a symbol of fertility, intelligence, and calm energy. But today, we know exactly why almonds continue to be revered, especially after 65. They're remarkably high in vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant that protects your cells from damage. In fact, just 1 ounce of almonds, about 23 nuts, contains 37% of your recommended daily vitamin E intake. That's big news for your heart, because vitamin E helps prevent cholesterol from oxidizing in your bloodstream, a key trigger in heart disease. But almonds do even more. They also contain magnesium, monounsaturated fats, and fiber, a trio of nutrients that work together like a well-rehearsed jazz band. Magnesium helps regulate heart rhythm and relax blood vessels. Monounsaturated fats lower LDL, bad, cholesterol, without touching HDL, good, cholesterol. And fiber? It gently supports digestion and keeps blood sugar stable, which becomes increasingly important in our later decades. A 2021 clinical trial from Harvard School of Public Health found that older adults who regularly consumed almonds showed improved lipid profiles, reduced belly fat, and even better sleep quality. That's right. Almonds may help your sleep. Because of their magnesium content, they may support the body's natural production of melatonin and promote more restful nights. It's a small bonus that can make a big difference, especially when you're aiming to wake up with clarity and energy. One of the best ways to enjoy almonds? Lightly soaked overnight. Soaking them makes them easier to digest, removing phytic acid that can interfere with nutrient absorption, and it gives them a softer texture, almost like a fresh bean. Add them in morning oats, blend them into a homemade almond milk, or just enjoy a few with a square of dark chocolate and green tea in the afternoon. The combination of L-theanine from the tea, antioxidants from the chocolate, and healthy fats from the almonds creates a moment of calm, clarity, and focus. But now, let's shift briefly to a nut that deserves a bit of moderation, the Brazil nut. Now, to be very clear, Brazil nuts are incredibly nutrient-dense. In fact, they contain the highest natural source of selenium found in any whole food. Just one single Brazil nut can provide up to 175% of your daily selenium needs. That's both a benefit and a reason to tread lightly. Selenium is essential for thyroid health, immune support, and even mood regulation. But it's also a mineral that becomes toxic in high amounts, especially over time. This is why Brazil nuts are best enjoyed rarely and sparingly. Think of them as a supplement in nut form, not a snack. 1 or 2 a week is likely enough. They're powerful and potent, and if you're already taking selenium in a multivitamin, you may not need Brazil nuts at all. But for those with low selenium, especially vegetarians or people with thyroid concerns, an occasional Brazil nut can be a natural way to top up your levels without turning to pills. It's all about balance, not avoiding, not fearing, just listening. In the next chapter, we'll visit a creamy, rich, and utterly satisfying nut that supports metabolism, bone health, and skin elasticity. And we'll also take a closer look at one of the most misunderstood nuts that might be putting quiet strain on the liver when not eaten correctly. Imagine biting into a nut so rich, so smooth, it feels almost indulgent, like nature's version of velvet. That's the macadamia. Native to Australia and loved worldwide for its luxurious texture, the macadamia nut is a gentle giant in the world of healthy fats. And it's particularly well-suited for people over 65, thanks to its unique composition of monounsaturated fats, minerals, and antioxidants. What sets the macadamia apart isn't just its taste, it's the quality of its fats. Over 80% of the fat in macadamias is monounsaturated, the same heart-healthy fat found in olive oil. But unlike many other nuts, macadamias are extremely low in omega-6 fatty acids, which in excess can promote inflammation. This makes macadamias a fantastic choice for reducing chronic inflammation, supporting cardiovascular health, and even helping with joint comfort, an issue many people become more aware of as they age. But that's just the beginning. Macadamias also contain thiamine, vitamin B1, which plays a key role in energy metabolism. As we age, our ability to convert food into clean, steady energy can decline. A simple daily handful of macadamias can help gently support this process, offering fuel without spikes and satisfaction without heaviness. They're also rich in manganese, a trace mineral involved in collagen production and bone strength. While often overlooked, manganese becomes increasingly important after 60, when bone density begins to decline. Paired with a diet rich in calcium and magnesium, macadamias can support the inner scaffolding of your body in subtle but important ways. And yes, they're wonderful for your skin. The combination of monounsaturated fat, vitamin E, and rare omega-7s in macadamias promotes skin elasticity and cell repair. For those who notice dry skin, wrinkles, or thinning tissue, this is the kind of whole food nourishment that beauty creams can only dream of matching. Enjoy them simply, a handful a day, or toast them lightly and sprinkle with cinnamon and a pinch of sea salt. They also pair well with roasted sweet potatoes or tossed into a fresh green salad with lemon vinaigrette. The creamy crunch adds both texture and richness. Now, let's pause for a moment and talk about a nut that many people eat without thinking, the cashew. Cashews are everywhere, in trail mix, vegan cheeses, creamy sauces, and nut butters. And on the surface, they're full of good things: magnesium, copper, plant protein. But here's the nuance: they are not actually raw when you buy them, and they require careful processing to be safe. Cashew shells contain a toxic compound called urushiol, the same irritant found in poison ivy. While this is completely removed during processing, it means that truly raw cashews are unsafe to eat. What we call raw cashews are actually steam processed, safe, but still slightly more refined than other nuts. More importantly, cashews are high in phytic acid, which can block mineral absorption, especially if eaten in large quantities or without soaking. For older adults concerned with bone density or mineral deficiencies, eating too many cashews, especially in forms like nut cheeses or spreads, might reduce how well the body absorbs iron, zinc, or calcium. Does this mean cashews are bad? Not at all. They're delicious, satisfying, and full of beneficial compounds like anacardic acids, which may support immune function. But moderation matters, and soaking them before eating or choosing fermented cashew products can make them easier to digest and gentler on your system. Think of them as the indulgent cousin in your nut family, great for special moments, just not necessarily for every day. In the next chapter, we'll meet one of the most antioxidant-rich nuts in the world, which protects your vision and boosts circulation, and we'll discuss a popular, salty favorite that may be pushing your sodium levels a little higher than ideal. Let's bring in a true gem, the pistachio. Tiny, cheerful, and packed with vibrant green color, pistachios might be one of the most joyful foods to eat. But beneath their charming shell lies a remarkable powerhouse of nutrition, especially valuable for people entering their 60s, 70s, and beyond. Pistachios are one of the most antioxidant-rich nuts in existence, second only to walnuts. They contain lutein and zeaxanthin, two carotenoids found in the retina of the eye. These antioxidants are especially important for preserving vision clarity, protecting against age-related macular degeneration, and supporting overall eye health. For those who spend time reading, enjoying art, or simply taking in the colors of nature, pistachios offer a quiet but steady shield for the eyes. Unlike many antioxidant-rich foods, which often require special preparation, pistachios are ready to go, already portable, already delicious. They also shine when it comes to supporting circulation and blood vessel flexibility. Pistachios are rich in arginine, an amino acid that helps produce nitric oxide, a compound that allows blood vessels to relax and widen. This can support healthy blood pressure and enhance oxygen delivery to tissues, which is especially helpful for older adults looking to stay active, alert, and energized. And here's a surprising bonus. Pistachios are one of the few nuts that contain significant fiber and protein together, with about 3 grams of fiber and 6 grams of protein per ounce. This makes them incredibly satiating, perfect for stabilizing blood sugar and avoiding those mid-afternoon slumps. A 2019 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that older adults who included pistachios in their diet for just 12 weeks saw improvements in vascular function, lipid levels, and even gut microbiome diversity. To get the most benefit, look for unsalted in-shell pistachios. The shell slows you down, encouraging mindful eating, and the unsalted version helps you avoid hidden sodium, which can creep up quickly with flavored varieties. They pair beautifully with fresh fruits, like strawberries, or with Greek yogurt and a drizzle of honey. Sprinkle them into quinoa bowls, chop them over roasted carrots, or just enjoy them as they are, a small handful of sunshine. Now, let's take a look at a nut that's often a favorite snack but needs a bit more mindfulness: the peanut. Technically, peanuts aren't nuts at all. They're legumes. They grow underground and have a different nutritional profile than tree nuts. But they've been a part of American snacking culture for over a century, showing up in everything from trail mix to peanut butter to ballpark cravings. Peanuts are undeniably rich in plant protein, and they contain resveratrol, the same heart-healthy compound found in red wine. They also offer niacin, folate, and magnesium. But here's where a gentle caution comes in. Peanuts are high in omega-6 fatty acids, which, when not balanced with omega-3s, can promote low-grade inflammation. For someone eating a modern Western diet, often already heavy in omega-6s, this can become a quiet imbalance. The body needs both omega-3 and omega-6 fats, but the ratio matters. Another point to consider is aflatoxin, a natural toxin produced by mold that can grow on peanuts stored in warm, humid environments. While regulations in the US keep levels safe, aflatoxins have been studied for their potential link to liver stress, especially in large or long-term exposures. Does that mean you should avoid peanuts? Not at all. But it's worth choosing organic, properly stored peanuts or peanut butters and rotating them with other nuts in your routine. Also, avoid honey-roasted or salted with flavor varieties that sneak in added sugars and sodium. A better option? A few tablespoons of natural peanut butter, with no sugar added, spread on apple slices or stirred into oatmeal. This way, you enjoy the familiar comfort of peanuts in a form that supports steady energy and simple joy. Moving forward, we'll explore a lesser-known nut that offers incredible support for blood sugar, plus a final note on how to bring all of these foods into a rhythm that works for your body and your life. Let's turn our attention now to a nut that doesn't always get the spotlight, but quietly works wonders behind the scenes, especially for blood sugar balance and metabolic health: the hazelnut. Best known for its role in chocolate spreads and holiday treats, the hazelnut might surprise you with its deeply supportive properties for the body, particularly in the areas of glucose regulation, cardiovascular strength, and skin nourishment. Hazelnuts are naturally rich in vitamin E, much like almonds, but they also contain unique forms of polyphenols and healthy fats that have been shown to improve insulin sensitivity. A 2018 study in the European Journal of Nutrition followed older adults with mild glucose intolerance who added hazelnuts to their diet daily. After 12 weeks, they experienced more stable blood sugar, reduced insulin spikes, and improvements in HDL cholesterol. That's great news for anyone managing prediabetes or simply wanting more even energy throughout the day. But hazelnuts go beyond the metabolic system. They also support brain function, thanks to their high levels of folate and manganese, both of which play key roles in neurotransmitter health and cognitive clarity. Manganese, in particular, supports the formation of superoxide dismutase, one of the body's most powerful antioxidant enzymes, helping protect your cells from oxidative stress as you age. And then there's the flavor: warm, nutty, almost buttery. It's a pleasure to eat hazelnuts, and that joy matters. After all, healthy eating after 65 should never feel like restriction. It should feel like a celebration of wisdom, of nourishment, of caring for the body that has carried you so far. To enjoy them at their best, toast raw hazelnuts lightly in the oven for 8–10 minutes to unlock their aroma and crunch. Rub off the skins for easier digestion, and pair them with roasted root vegetables, bitter greens, or even a simple pear. Their richness complements slightly tart or earthy flavors beautifully. Now, before we wrap up, let's briefly reflect on one nut that often slips into snack mixes and bars, but doesn't always sit well with every body. The pecan. Pecans are delicious, there's no arguing that. They're a classic in pies, granolas, and roasted snacks. And nutritionally, they do offer benefits: antioxidants, monounsaturated fats, and a bit of fiber. But they're also higher in fat and calories than almost any other nut, which makes them easy to overconsume without realizing it. For someone watching their weight or working on digestive regularity, too many pecans can feel heavy. They're also lower in protein and minerals compared to other nuts, and often sold in candied, roasted, or flavored varieties that include added sugars, oils, and preservatives. It's not that pecans are unhealthy, it's just that their common forms tend to stray from the whole food ideal. That said, when eaten raw or lightly toasted and paired with the right foods, pecans can absolutely be part of a balanced diet. Try them in moderation with pumpkin or squash soups, or chopped into a wild rice salad with cranberries and herbs. They shine when given a savory context, not just sugary ones. And finally, let's talk rhythm. Because knowing which nuts to favor is only part of the story. What matters most is how you build them into a rhythm that suits your life, your body, and your joy. Rhythm is where real health lives. It's not just about the nutrients in a single food, it's about how that food fits into your day, your seasons, your emotions, your life. And nuts, more than almost any other food, are built for rhythm. They're compact, stable, rich in energy, and deeply adaptable. One day you might need something to fuel a long walk or a calm mind before sleep. Another day you might need a snack that stabilizes your energy between lunch and dinner. Nuts offer you both, without needing to prepare, cook, or think too hard. That's part of their magic, but the real power lies in how you combine them. Walnuts with blueberries support the brain. Almonds with dark chocolate offer heart protection and joy. Pistachios with Greek yogurt and honey help the eyes and digestion. Hazelnuts with pears calm your blood sugar. Macadamias with roasted vegetables add richness and satiety. Even Brazil nuts, when enjoyed carefully, help you fill in important mineral gaps. The key is variety and intention. Think of your body as a garden. After 65, that garden still wants to bloom. It's just asking for different tools, different soil, a little more sunlight, a little more listening. When you give it nutrients in their whole, balanced form, like a handful of nuts paired with fresh fruit or a spoon of nut butter on warm oats, your body says thank you, not with words, but with better sleep, clearer thinking, more joyful movement. And it's never about perfection. It's about patterns. It's about asking, how do I want to feel after I eat? What does my body respond to with energy and peace? What does nourishment look like at this stage of life? Not in a textbook, but in my kitchen, in my hands. That's where nuts shine. They're not a trend. They're not a hack. They're ancient, real, earthy. The original wellness food. And when chosen thoughtfully, they become allies in the quiet art of aging well. They whisper to your heart, your mind, your bones. You're still growing, you're still strong. So maybe today you start small. A few walnuts after breakfast, a couple of soaked almonds in the afternoon, a tiny bowl of pistachios during your favorite show, one Brazil nut once a week. It's not about rules, it's about presence. Because there's beauty in that kind of nourishment. It's soft, it's wise, and it's completely yours. To long life, to clarity, to the little things that make all the difference, and to the simple joy of a perfectly chosen nut.